Why such hatred, envy, and jealousy? Seriously, who would want to live in Dubai? Can you hear yourself? You live in Sunderland, mate. You are the worst generation. Your ancestors are not gonna be very proud of you. Why does the Western media keep bad-mouthing the UAE and Dubai in particular? Why, among 200 plus countries around the world, Dubai has to get the lion's share of all the bad publicity in Western media? I mean, sometimes when I read the Independent or The Guardian, I feel like they have a dedicated department just to talk and criticize Dubai, and it's so subjective. Like if Dubai, there's a story out of Dubai about a couple who has been imprisoned for having intercourse on a public beach. The Western media goes all ballistic and calls Dubai and the UAE primitive, when I am sure that the same incident in London would end up the couple in prison as well. I don't think having sex in public is legal anywhere in the world, but of course, because it's in Dubai, then it's unacceptable, it's primitive, it's a bunch of intolerant people. But we know it's all not true. We know it's all propaganda in Western media. The big question that everybody asks is, why such hatred? Why all this bad mouthing when it comes to Dubai and the UAE? I think there are several factors, but maybe the one on top is the obvious one, and the most obvious as well, is envy and jealousy. You see, the West has been in constant deterioration in the last 20 years. I mean, the people living in Europe in particular seem to be less and less happy and less content year after year. The economies are not doing great. We love Europe. I mean, it's in my opinion the most beautiful continent on the planet. But every year we go on vacation to Europe, I notice that things are going backwards rather than forward. And the UAE is the split opposite of that. Everything is progressing day by day. And maybe they look at the UAE, the West looks at the UAE and see their failures. And it's a psychological thing. Instead of doing a self-objective criticism and say, okay, what is the UAE doing right that I can learn from? They simply would criticize you and try to find things that happen or things that are done in the UAE that sounds to them outrageous when back home they're absolutely accepted. So that's in my opinion the first reason. There's also probably a second reason, is the interest in Dubai and the UAE. And we know that all what is said in the news, in Western news, is exaggerated and subjective, and a lot of times is fake. It's not correct, though they do accuse us here in the UAE that we create fake news, which is absolutely wrong, and we know that. But these media, who do they cater for? They cater mostly for people who live. Let's say we were talking about the Independent and the Guardian or the Mirror. I mean, these are British media. They cater for people who live in England. And who watches or who reads these news? It's not the successful businessman or financial person in working in London. We're talking about people who have never been outside Sunderland, for example. And yeah, that guy with a very fixed mindset has developed a negative view of the whole world, not only the UAE, but of course, because the UAE and Dubai are interesting and in the news and the talk of the town. So yeah, they get the bulk share of the criticism. So you see all these comments on social media when you see a negative article about Dubai and you see all these supporting, yeah, who would want to live there? I mean, seriously, who would want to live in Dubai? Can you hear yourself? You live in Sunderland, mate. A place that hasn't evolved in 50 years. You make ends meet. The government takes a lot of your money, gives you little in return. I mean, the NHS, our biggest worry when we travel to England is that if one of my kids gets sick, we're going to rush to a private clinic for sure, because I'm sure we're going to get nothing, no service, or a very poor service if we have to go to the NHS. So please give us a break when you criticize the UAE and say who wants to live here. In fact, a lot of people wants to live here. And it's a bit sad on a human scale to see that when the UAE for once in its life, it looked fragile and it was attacked, instead of the world feeling empathy for the UAE, there was a lot of happy voices and saying that, yeah, we deserve what we got, and you guys were kind of happy of what happened here. And this is really extremely sad and very pathetic, to be honest. And I mean, at the end, who loses if the UAE really regresses? It's the whole world that will lose, because this is a center for the world right now, a refuge for people who want something different, people who want to get out of stagnation, people who want opportunities that they cannot find back home. And what perplexes me really and makes me confused is I don't understand why such a hatred for a country who has been nothing but neutral towards the world, never took stand, never been extremist in any way to others, always at the front to help with humanitarian aid anywhere in the world when any country needs it, whether for natural disasters or wars or conflict. I mean, my parents-in-law, they're Ukrainians, so when the war in Ukraine started, we got them here, and they were welcomed in the UAE with a residence visa. It's under the scheme of residence visa for people of countries of war and natural disaster. So that was a scheme already existing. So everybody who is living in a war zone can come to the UAE and get a 1-year residence visa, no questions asked. They qualify for that. So it's a welcoming country for all those in need. And yet, there are the haters and there are the bad-mouthing media towards a country that has not hurt anybody, which is really very strange. And my message to Western media, and I'm not generalizing, I'm talking particularly to those, but they are really many, who have been pretty critical and bad-mouthing the UAE across many, many years, and that has increased specifically in the last months after the Iranian aggression. My message to you is to take a break and do a self-assessment of your own societies, on your own countries, and think why you have become what you have become, instead of throwing your anger and your frustration at your own situation on countries that are progressing and are growing. To be honest, and this probably is going to create a lot of bad comments on this video, but I think in the UAE, after what happened recently, we care less about what people say. We need to say things up and straight. I think the current generation who lives in Europe, you are the worst generation that has inhabited that continent. And we are sad about it. We are sad because we consider Europe the most beautiful continent on earth, by far. I mean, me and my family, we love traveling there every time we get the chance. I have studied in the UK. I hope my kids will study in the UK. But every year we go, we see things regressing. For the first time, maybe in the last 20 years, Europe has stopped progressing and started going backwards. And we blame you, the people who are running the show in Europe today, for doing that. You have inherited the most beautiful continent on earth, the richest in heritage, in natural resources, and you haven't done much about it. You have only taken it backwards. You are preoccupied by the rest of the world rather than being honest with yourselves and finding solutions to your own issues. Well, I hope that the Western media will take a little break from the UAE, maybe focus a little bit more on your own issues and problems back home. Do a reflection on how you can improve your own countries, maybe get a little bit inspired by what the UAE is doing and how you can mirror that in your own societies. And maybe you will bring back Europe to its previous glory, because I'm sure currently your ancestors, if they see how you're running the show, they're not going to be very proud of you.